Welcoming the whole body to tonight's practice as we gather in community for a practice of queer Nidra, in which we especially dive into those in-between spaces and places. Welcome to this practice. Welcoming the whole body to tonight's practice as we gather in community for a practice of queer Nidra, in which we especially dive into those in-between spaces and places. As people who identify as queer, who have found identities outside of the mainstream, as people who have been hearing and listening to inner voices, inner knowledge, even if that somehow contradicts what we hear on the outside. We are here to continue this work with whatever awareness emerges, whatever identity or feeling or experience is present and at the focus of our attention. So beginning tonight with settling the body, getting the physical body situated and comfortable. Any position is welcome. The recommendation is to be lying down in a way that you are completely supported, lying down in a way that there's no effort. The body can trust the surface beneath. So it might take a moment to find that position or even that place, to find maybe pillows or bolsters or blankets to make this position as ideal as possible, as accommodating, nourishing. So the body is at the center of the attention as the main guest of this experience, tending to its position, to its placement, its comfort. And when the body is situated, when the body is organized in a way that feels comfortable, comforting, let the mind watch the breath, moving with the inhale and the exhale. I'm getting curious about this ongoing pattern, the breath that has been with you your whole life, from the moment of your birth. And it's always moving in this pattern. It's always inhale, followed by exhale, followed by inhale. And so watching the breath, let the mind tune in to the expansion and contraction that is the breath. One of the magical aspects of the breath is that it is both expansion and contraction on inhale and exhale. On the inhale, the body expands. The body is filled with breath. Notice the space that the breath occupies within the body. With every inhale, this expansion of space in the body is created by a contraction of the diaphragm muscle at the center of the trunk. This contraction of the diaphragm pulls that musculature down and draws the air into the lungs, so the expansion is created by the contraction. And conversely, with the exhale, as the diaphragm expands, releases, and returns to its upper position by the ribs, the breath capacity contracts and becomes smaller. So take a moment to be with this paradox that is the breath, this expansion within contraction, contraction within expansion. This is how the breath is organized. And so many things in life organized this way. Expansion within contraction, contraction within expansion. Like the light and energy and strength. Watching this body breathe. And bringing the awareness down into the body, the long journey from the mind to the heart space. Checking in, just noticing. Does the space of the heart feel contracted or expanded? What expands the heart? Maybe holding this as a question, and maybe the heart knows. Maybe the heart can call in, summon up that which expands the heart. You might be able to feel the expansive heart. And it may be a quiet mystery. It may be a moment of curiosity, of wonder. Just holding as a question, what expands the heart? How does it feel when the heart feels open? How does that feel? As the mind explores the space of the heart, this inner landscape, notice the space of the whole chest, the space of the lungs and the ribs. Feel the spaces between the ribs, at the front of the body, perhaps at the back of the body. The space between the shoulder blades. And the space between the lower ribs on the back and the top of the pelvis at the back. That space of the low back. Notice the space between the ribs on the right side and the right hip, the ribs on the left and the left hip, and that space between the edge of the rib cage in the front and the top of the pelvis in the front, that space of the abdomen. Letting the awareness fill this space, acknowledge the expansiveness and the contraction that is natural to this space. Notice the space between the two hips and the space between the right hip and the right knee, the space between the right knee and the right ankle, between the ankle and the toes, and find the spaces between the big toe and the second toe and the third toe, third and fourth, and between the fourth and fifth toes on the right. Be aware of that space, the space from the toes to the hip on the right side, and again, the space between the hips, the space of the left hip to the left knee, the space from the left knee to the left ankle, and the space at the left ankle to the toes, the space from the left big toe to the second to the third, the space between the third and fourth toes and the fourth and fifth. Feel the spaciousness of the whole leg from the toes to the hip. Again, the space between the left hip and the right hip. Again, the space between the hips and the ribs, between the ribs and the shoulders. Be aware of the space of the right shoulder to the right elbow to the right wrist, and that wrist to the right hand thumb, wrist to the index finger, wrist to the middle finger, the space between the wrist and the ring finger, the wrist and the little finger. Be aware of this space. From the fingertips to the right shoulder, between the right shoulder and the left shoulder, the space between the left shoulder and the left elbow and the left wrist and the left hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring and little finger. The space between the wrist and the tips of the fingers, and the spaces between the fingers, between the two thumbs and the index fingers, between the index fingers and the middle fingers. Find the space between the middle finger and the ring finger, between the ring and little fingers. Hold space in the palms of the hands. Welcome that expansion from the fingertips to the shoulders, from the shoulders to the neck, the space in the throat, the space within the back of the head and the sides of the head, the space within the ears, the space within the mouth and the space of the nostrils, to the eye sockets where the eyeballs sit. Be aware of the space between the eyebrows and the expanse of the forehead and the hairline. To the space inside of the head, inside of the top of the head. Be aware of that space. Head and face, the space of the neck and shoulders, space of the right and left arms, the chest and upper back, the space of the low back, and abdomen and pelvis, the right leg, the left leg, together. Both legs, the trunk, the space of the trunk and the two arms, the neck and head together, the space from the top of the head to the tips of the fingers, to the tips of the toes of the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. The expansiveness of the whole body, growing even larger with every inhale and settling, contracting with the exhale. This whole body, resting and breathing this whole body here in the practice. Here in the practice that is yoga, Nidra, the whole body. Awake, aware, home, the awareness home in the body. With this question, what does expansion feel like? How is this body expanding with the breath? With release, with letting go, how does the exhale and surrender make space? And how is the body expanding with the inhale? How is this nourishment, this resource, providing for the expanse of the body? How does that feel? And where does the body feel the most expansive? Where is there the most space available? Where in the body and when in the body? Is it on inhale? Is it on exhale? Or maybe at one of the moments of switch? Where and when is the body most expansive, most open? What does that feel like? And be curious to find where in the body there might be contraction. Where is the body the least open, the most shut down or inaccessible, small, meek? Where and when with the breath, does the body feel contracted? Let the mind scan the whole body to find where this experience of contraction might be. So as to find both, so as to find the expanse and the contraction, the paradox itself, perhaps in the same moment, perhaps in the same part of the body, like the expansiveness of the diaphragm that creates the contraction of the exhale and the contraction of the diaphragm that creates the expanse of the inhale. Be aware of expanse and contraction of the vast and the minute in the body. This energy of outward and this energy of inward. The energy of bigger and brighter, and the energy of smaller and dimmer. Finding them as experiences in the body, as sensations, and holding the query, the question, how does it feel to expand? What expansion am I inviting? What expansion am I calling in? What is the expansion I wish to be standing in, steeped in, abundant and dwelling happily in? What is that abundance? What is that expansion? And how does it feel to call in what you wish, to call in what the body knows or longs for, inviting these sensations to show up, inviting the body to generate these feelings? Open heart, courage to expand. Held together by the breath. Listen to the breath. Listen for all the sounds around, in the room, in the building, in the house, in the neighborhood. Feel this body in this practice. So comfortable. The mind at home in the body. Here in this space at the same time as in the space of expansion, the inner landscape, the world of infinite possibility within. Awareness of both the outside world and the inside world at the same time. These natural laws of expansion and contraction inside and outside. Acknowledging this rhythm with the breath, trusting this rhythm, inviting the expansion as the body knows it, as the body feels it. And preparing to complete this practice tonight with this listening of all the sounds outside and inside. Remembering where you are, that you've been practicing yoga Nidra, the yoga of brain waves and conscious modulation. Listening for the breath and the sounds of the body like digestion and the heartbeat. And feeling the breath, feeling the movement of the inhale and exhale, feeling what it feels like to fill the chest, to fill the body. Feel the whole body, again, the front and the back, the right side and the left side, those spaces on the inside and the spaces between the limbs and the spaces of the outside of the body. Feeling the body about 2 inches outside of the body, the space around the body. The body in this space. As it begins to awaken and move with a deeper breath, a little deeper inhale, little wiggles of the toes and the feet, of the fingers and the hands, little movements. Turning the head from side to side, if that feels good, or perhaps resting with soft breaths right where you are. You can't do this wrong, so however the body wishes to move or wishes to not move is welcome. If you wish to awaken the body, you might bring the hands together. Warming up the hands and stimulating the palms awakens the nervous system, offering that warmth to the eyes, smoothing out the surface of the face with the warmth of the hands. If that feels good, if that's something welcome to the body. Massaging the earlobes, grabbing the lower parts of the ears and massaging through the edges of the ears up to the top and around. And then back down and around. If you so choose to help the body wake up a little bit, and you might choose to stay resting in this space of yoga nidra. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and leave a comment about your experience. And while you're here, please subscribe to my channel and opt in for notifications to catch the next class I upload. And then head over to olgachwa.com to join in a live event or to work one-on-one with me. I'm here to help.